My beloved child, come closer and listen carefully, for I am about to reveal something that has been hidden from your eyes for a very long time. You believe that you are simply moving through ordinary days. You think your life is unfolding one moment after another without any greater pattern. But I tell you now, nothing about your journey has been ordinary. Before you took your first breath, before you opened your eyes to this world, I saw every step you would take. I saw every victory that would make you smile and every heartbreak that would bring tears to your eyes. I saw every question you would ask when the night felt too long and every prayer you would whisper when no one else could hear. And through it all, I prepared a moment like this. A moment when you would finally stop running. A moment when you would finally listen. A moment when your heart would become ready to hear what heaven has been waiting to tell you. My child, there is a version of your future that already exists within my plan. You cannot see it yet. You cannot touch it yet. But I have already walked there. I have already seen the person you are becoming. The future you fears less than you do today. The future you carries wisdom you do not yet possess. The future you smiles at struggles that currently make you tremble. That future version of your life is not a fantasy. It is a promise. Every challenge you face today is building the person you will become tomorrow. Every delay that frustrates you is shaping strength inside you. Every closed door is redirecting your steps towards something greater. You often ask me why things take so long. You wonder why others seem to move ahead while you remain waiting. But what you call waiting, I call preparation. What you call delay, I call construction. What you call silence, I call alignment. My child, your future has been waiting for your faith to catch up with what I have already prepared. There are blessings that cannot be released until your spirit is ready to carry them. There are opportunities that cannot arrive until your character has been strengthened. There are answers that cannot be understood until your heart has matured. That is why I have not rushed your story. I am not writing a temporary victory. I am building an eternal testimony. And now I must tell you about the letter. For long before this day arrived, heaven prepared a message with your name upon it. Not a message written on paper, not a message hidden in a vault, but a message woven through your life itself. The signs were everywhere. The unexpected rescue, the chance encounter, the opportunity that appeared at the perfect moment, the strength that arrived when you thought you could not continue. Each one was another sentence in the letter I was writing to you. Yet many times you missed it, not because you failed, but because the timing had not yet come. A letter cannot be understood before it is opened. And now your heart is beginning to open. Now you are starting to see that I was never absent. I was writing. I was speaking. I was guiding. Even when you believed you were alone. My beloved child, there is something else you must understand. None of your dreams have been forgotten. The dreams you buried, the dreams you abandoned, the dreams that seemed impossible, the dreams that others laughed at. I know every one of them. I remember them even when you do not. There is a place within my purpose where forgotten dreams are preserved. Nothing offered to me in faith is ever wasted. Many times you thought a dream had died, but it was only resting. Many times you believed a door had closed forever, but I was preparing a better entrance. You judge the story by one chapter. I see the entire book. That is why I ask you not to surrender to despair. Despair sees only the present moment. Faith sees the destination. And I have already seen your destination. My child, there were nights when you cried and nobody knew. There were battles you fought silently. There were fears you carried behind your smile. I saw every one of them. Not a single tear escaped my attention. Not a single prayer disappeared into emptiness. Every cry reached me. Every whisper reached me. Every hope reached me. You may not have seen immediate answers, but heaven was moving. Even now, things are shifting around you in ways you cannot yet recognize. Paths are being prepared. Obstacles are being removed. Appointments are being arranged. People are being positioned. What appears random to you is often part of my design. Trust me when I tell you this. The story is not ending. The story is beginning. The future I prepared for you has not disappeared. The dreams I planted within you have not expired. The purpose I created you for remains alive. And now the season is changing. The fog is beginning to lift. The silence is beginning to break. The waiting is beginning to reveal its purpose. So do not fear the days ahead. Walk forward. Trust me one step at a time. For I am the author of your story. I am the keeper of your dreams. I am the one who has gone before you. And the future that waits for you is far greater than anything your fears have imagined. My beloved child, the appointment has been set. The letter has been prepared. The dreams have been preserved. Now it is time for you to believe again, because what is coming next will reveal why every step of your journey mattered. And when you finally see it, you will understand that I was leading you all along. My child, this is what was hidden in the silence. My beloved child, there is something I must tell you that many never fully understand. You have often mistaken my silence for absence. You believed that because you could not hear my voice, I was no longer near. Because your prayers seemed unanswered, you assumed heaven had become distant. But my child, silence is not the same as abandonment. There are seasons when I speak through thunder. There are seasons when I speak through miracles. And there are seasons when I speak through silence. The silence you feared was never empty. It was full of preparation. While you waited for answers, I was building foundations. While you searched for signs, I was arranging circumstances. While you questioned my timing, I was protecting your future. You could not see it because the work was happening beneath the surface. Just as roots grow unseen beneath the soil before a tree rises above the ground, much of my greatest work in your life has happened where human eyes cannot see. I know there were moments when you felt forgotten, moments when you looked around and saw others receiving blessings while your own situation remained unchanged, moments when disappointment became so familiar that you almost stopped expecting anything good. But even then, I was working. I never stopped. Not for a single day. Not for a single moment. Every setback was being transformed into preparation. Every delay was becoming part of a greater design. Every obstacle was teaching you something that success alone could never teach. You thought you were losing time. I was building wisdom. You thought you were being overlooked. I was developing strength. You thought doors were closing forever. I was guiding you toward better ones. My child, if you could see your life from my perspective, you would realize how many dangers you never encountered because I protected you. How many wrong paths you never traveled because I redirected you. How many mistakes never destroyed you because my mercy intervened. There are victories you celebrate, but there are also victories you never knew happened. Battles fought in the unseen. Prayers answered in ways you never recognized. Protection you never noticed. And grace you never understood. Now I want you to see something even deeper. Imagine your life as a book. For years you have judged the entire story by a few difficult chapters. You read a season of heartbreak and assumed the ending would be tragic. You read a season of struggle and assumed success would never come. You read a season of loneliness and assumed joy had forgotten your address. But my child, you have not reached the final chapter. You have not even reached the most important chapter. The story is still being written. The pages ahead contain things you cannot yet imagine. There are friendships you have not met, opportunities you have not seen, blessings you have not experienced, miracles you have not witnessed. You stand in the middle of the story, trying to understand the ending. Trust the author. Trust the one who sees every page at once. Trust the one who wrote purpose into your existence before time began. For I know where the story leads. And I promise you this: the ending is greater than the struggle. The purpose is greater than the pain. The future is greater than the fear. My beloved child, there is another truth I want you to understand. Inside you there is a light. You may not always feel it. You may not always recognize it. But it has never gone out. The world tried to dim it. Disappointment tried to weaken it. Failure tried to bury it. Fear tried to silence it. Yet it remains. Because the light within you did not originate from the world. It came from me. And what comes from me cannot be destroyed by temporary darkness. There were nights when you thought your faith was gone, yet somehow you continued. There were seasons when you wanted to give up, yet somehow you kept moving forward. There were moments when hope seemed impossible, yet somehow a small spark remained alive. That spark was never your own strength alone. It was my presence within you. Quiet, patient, steady, faithful, waiting for the moment when you would finally recognize it. You see, my child, darkness often convinces people that darkness is permanent. But darkness is only temporary. Light always returns. Morning always arrives. Winter always ends. And the same is true for your life. What feels permanent today will one day become a memory. The struggle that overwhelms you now will become part of your testimony. The pain that burdens you now will become proof of your growth. The obstacle before you now will become evidence of my faithfulness. Do not let temporary circumstances define eternal promises. Do not let fear speak louder than faith. Do not let today's uncertainty make you forget tomorrow's possibility. Because I have not brought you this far to abandon you now. I have not carried you through countless storms only to leave you in the middle of one. I have not invested so much into your journey for your story to end in defeat. The waiting had a purpose. The silence had a purpose. The setbacks had a purpose. Even the confusion had a purpose. Everything has been preparing you for what comes next. You wanted immediate answers. I was preparing lasting transformation. You wanted quick solutions. I was building enduring character. You wanted comfort. I was creating strength. And now, little by little, you are beginning to understand. The things you once called obstacles were often protection. The things you once called delays were often preparation. The things you once called losses were often redirections. Nothing has been wasted. Not your tears. Not your prayers. Not your waiting. Not your faithfulness. I have used every piece of your journey. Every victory, every failure, every lesson, every disappointment, every triumph. Together they have formed the person you are becoming. And the person you are becoming is stronger than the person you used to be. Wiser than the person you used to be. More compassionate. More resilient. More prepared. My child, you have spent too much time looking backward. It is time to look ahead. Lift your eyes beyond the present struggle. Lift your eyes beyond temporary circumstances. Lift your eyes beyond fear. Something is changing. The season is shifting. The silence is ending. The hidden work is beginning to appear. You may not see everything immediately, but you will see enough to keep moving forward. One step, then another, and eventually you will look back and realize that every difficult season was guiding you toward this moment. A moment of clarity, a moment of understanding, a moment when the pieces finally begin to fit together. Do not fear what lies ahead. The future is not your enemy. The unknown is not your enemy. Fear is the enemy. Doubt is the enemy. Despair is the enemy. But I have given you something greater than all of them. I have given you hope. And hope anchored in me cannot be destroyed. So stand firm. Walk forward. Trust again. Believe again. For the pages ahead are brighter than the pages behind. And soon I will reveal why every season of waiting was necessary. Soon I will show you what has been waiting beyond the fog. Soon you will see the city of light that has been prepared for you all along. And when that day comes, you will understand why I never stopped leading you. Not even for a moment. My child, the city of light is closer than you think. My beloved child, you have come farther than you realize. There were times when you thought you were standing still, yet every step was carrying you toward a destination prepared long before you knew it existed. The road has not been easy. The nights have not been short. The questions have not been few. But through every season, I have been leading you toward something beautiful. Now I want you to imagine yourself standing at the edge of a great valley covered in thick fog. For years you have walked through that fog. Some days you could barely see a few steps ahead. Other days you wondered if you had lost your way entirely. The uncertainty exhausted you. The waiting tested you. The silence challenged your faith. Yet you kept moving. Sometimes with confidence. Sometimes with trembling. Sometimes with nothing more than the smallest fragment of hope. But you kept moving. And now, my child, the fog is beginning to lift. Not because you have become perfect. Not because you suddenly possess all the answers. But because the season of revelation has arrived. Ahead of you stands a city of light. A place you could not see while the fog surrounded you. A place that has existed all along. A place prepared by my hands. The city represents every promise that seemed impossible. Every prayer that appeared unanswered. Every blessing that seemed delayed. Every purpose that seemed hidden. You thought these things had disappeared. But they were waiting beyond the fog. You thought your future had become uncertain, but I was guiding you toward it all along. Many people turn back before reaching this point. They become discouraged. They allow disappointment to become their master. They allow fear to become their guide. But you continued walking, even when you were weary. Even when you doubted, even when you could not understand. And because you continued, you are now close enough to see what once seemed invisible. The city of light is not merely a destination. It is a revelation that I have been faithful the entire time, a revelation that my promises never expired. A revelation that your waiting was not wasted. My beloved child, there is another truth you must understand before you enter this new season. Throughout many of your darkest nights, I have been working as a gardener. While you slept, I worked. While you worried, I worked. While you questioned, I worked. A gardener understands something many people do not. Growth requires pruning. The branches that seem healthy sometimes prevent greater growth. The leaves that appear beautiful sometimes block future fruit. The things removed are not always bad. They are simply not meant for the next season. You cried when certain relationships ended. You mourned when certain opportunities disappeared. You struggled when familiar seasons came to a close. You thought something precious had been taken away. But I saw what was coming next. I saw the harvest. I saw the growth. I saw the fruit your life would produce. And because I loved you, I pruned what could no longer remain. The gardener does not cut because he hates the plant. The gardener cuts because he sees potential the plant cannot yet see. That is what I have been doing in your life. Preparing you, strengthening you, expanding you, teaching you, transforming you. Every painful ending carried the seed of a greater beginning. Every loss created space for something better. Every disappointment redirected you toward a higher purpose. You often asked me why. Why this happened. Why that ended. Why certain prayers seemed unanswered. My child, sometimes the answer was protection. Sometimes the answer was preparation. Sometimes the answer was simply that I had something better waiting ahead. Trust the gardener. Trust the one who sees beyond the current season. Trust the one who understands the harvest before the seed is planted. And now we arrive at the final revelation. The revelation of the door. For many years you have stood before a particular door. You prayed for it, worked for it, dreamed about it, believed it would change everything. You convinced yourself that happiness existed behind that door. You believed fulfillment existed behind that door. You believed success existed behind that door. Yet no matter how hard you tried, it remained closed. And because it remained closed, you questioned yourself. You questioned your future. You questioned my plan. You questioned whether I had forgotten you. But my beloved child, I never forgot you. I was protecting you. The door remained closed because it was never your destiny. You saw a single door. I saw an entire landscape. You saw one possibility. I saw countless possibilities. You saw what you wanted. I saw what you needed. And because I love you too much to give you less than my best, I refused to open a door that would lead you away from your purpose. One day you will look back and thank me for every closed door. You will thank me for the opportunities that disappeared. You will thank me for the relationships that ended. You will thank me for the plans that failed, because you will finally see what I saw. You will understand what I understood. You will recognize that the closed door was not rejection. It was redirection, not punishment. Protection, not abandonment. Guidance. The door you wanted was not the door you needed. The future I prepared is greater than the future you imagined. The path I chose is higher than the path you would have chosen yourself. That is why I ask you now to release your grip on what did not happen. Release the regrets. Release the disappointments. Release the bitterness. Release the questions that no longer serve you. The season ahead requires open hands. You cannot receive new blessings while clinging to old wounds. You cannot step into new purpose while remaining trapped in yesterday. You cannot enter the city of light while staring at doors that were never meant to open. Lift your eyes. Look forward. The future is calling. The purpose is waiting. The harvest is ready. The light is rising. And I am walking beside you, just as I always have. My child, hear me clearly. You were never lost. You were never forgotten. You were never abandoned. Even during your darkest nights, I was there. Even during your greatest struggles, I was there. Even during seasons when you doubted my presence, I was there. I have been writing your story from the beginning. And the story is not ending in defeat. It is ending in victory. Not because life will become perfect, but because you will finally understand who has been guiding you all along. The fog is lifting. The city is visible. The harvest is near. The right door is opening. Walk forward without fear. Walk forward with faith. Walk forward with hope. For the future before you is brighter than the past behind you. And the one who called you is faithful. I am with you. I have always been with you. And I will remain with you until every promise I have spoken over your life has come to pass. Now go forward, my beloved child. The journey continues, and your greatest chapter is still ahead.